and the King has stated that Buckingham Palace is ready to support the police as they look into allegations regarding Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor.
A palace spokesman said the King has made clear in words and through unprecedented actions his profound concern at allegations which continue to come to light in respect of Mr Mountbatten-Windsor's conduct.
Well, joining us now is royal broadcaster and historian Rafe Hairumanku. Rafe, the front page of the Sun today, King will help cops on Andy. Now, potentially there could be a charge. I mean, Andrew has denied any wrongdoing. There could be a charge of misconduct in public office. Those are the allegations. That's a criminal charge which could result in a life imprisonment.
Yeah.
What do you make of this?
I've said for a long time that the Epstein scandal is the biggest political crisis of modern history. I think it's bigger than the perfumer scandal in '63, which contributed to the downfall of Macmillan, even bigger than the 1936 abdication crisis that led to Edward VIII becoming the Duke of Windsor. It's that significant. And evidence supporting my claim is in things like this statement, because this is unprecedented. We have the King for the first time involving himself in proceedings. We have the King publicly criticising his brother for the first time, saying that he's profoundly concerned by the allegations around Mr. Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. Before today, we've never seen Mr. used by the palace. This is a clear attempt to show he's not royal, he's a private citizen who must face the law without fear or favour if necessary. And of course, the statement's all about transparency. No longer does never complain, never explain apply for a situation like this. Unprecedented. As you say, it's because of these allegations. You know, sexual allegations are notoriously hard to prove. This is very different. We're talking about financial impropriety, allegedly. We're talking about claims about using these trips also for private and personal gain for himself and Mr Epstein and other businessmen when he's on these official trade envoy missions. And yes, potentially misconduct in public office because of that, and also potentially the violation of the Official Secrets Act. Only a 2-year maximum penalty there, but the new National Security Act does also carry life imprisonment. What are the allegations? Well, essentially they're saying that he was providing confidential material to Epstein, such as, for example, 5 minutes after he received a confidential email about reports of his missions to Southeast Asia, he had forwarded that to Epstein. We also now, of course, have information that he also, when he said he was breaking off relations with Epstein in December 2010, he was actually emailing him about commercial opportunities in Afghanistan. And now the Telegraph has reported he potentially could have been doing a new business deal in China.
My goodness. My goodness, that is a litany there, Rafe. Well, look, we will also bring in royal correspondent for the Telegraph, India McTaggart. India, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We've just, Rafe's just given us a very good account, a litany of the things surrounding Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. India, how bad is this for the royal family to be making such unprecedented comments?
It speaks to the significance of the situation. I think that the King is literally prepared to come out and say, I will, I'm authorising Buckingham Palace to corroborate in the investigations, if needs be, with Thames Valley Police, as Rafe said, who are going to potentially look into Andrew on these claims that he passed confidential information to Epstein when he was trade envoy, including trips, information about trips to Vietnam, Hong Kong, China, Singapore. So, I mean, it really speaks to the seriousness of the allegations that his older brother, the King, is fully prepared to, actually really be very transparent about this and say, you know what, Buckingham Palace will put their full weight behind this. And I do think that everybody needs to be seen as if they are doing this by the book, and that there is not two-tier policing and a two-tier system, one for the royals and one for everyone else. Look at what's happening to Peter Mandelson, who's facing very similar claims about sharing confidential information with Epstein. It's a misconduct in public office and a breach of the official secrets. So I think and we saw both his homes raided on Friday. So I think everybody needs to be seen as if they are doing this completely by the book.
And is there a sense, I mean, there's a top Democrat in the United States of America has been quoted as saying that these files could topple the monarchy. Rafe, is there do you think there's any truth to that?
I think having an American congressman weigh in on the Republican situation in this country is about as good as a Labour person speaking about American politics. Stay in your lane, Congressman.
India, what do you think of those comments?
I think Rafe is not wrong, although I think, there is a sense of public anger really spilling over now, and not just on that side of the Atlantic, but, we've seen the king heckled twice on his most recent public engagements about these claims and about Andrew. And I do think that it does pose somewhat of an existential crisis, and they really need to be seen to be separating themselves from it and be as transparent as possible, because I do think some of the public will think, right, well, Andrew's links to Epstein were known for many years before his titles were stripped. And of course, I don't blame them, because how could he have known? How could the king have known how bad, how devastating it would be? Because Andrew wasn't truthful with them from the beginning. So it's a really difficult one.
India, thank you so much. That's our India McTaggart, royal correspondent for The Telegraph. And Rafe, thank you so much as well as always for coming in.
All right.
There's nothing more important than keeping you and your loved ones safe online. With so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. And with their Valentine's Day sale, this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GBNews viewers. It's the easiest way to stay safe online, protect your money, and save big for less than £2 a month. Click the link in the video's description or scan the QR code today.
So we had that extraordinary statement yesterday, which some people thought was a bit weak and insipid, from the Prince and Princess of Wales about their concern about the victims of Epstein. It did not mention Prince Andrew at all, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. But the statement released by Buckingham Palace yesterday was pretty remarkable, Miriam, where it says the palace would support the police in any inquiry looking into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So that is the king saying they'll open the door. Any help they need. Couldn't be clearer, could it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got the full statement, which is, excuse me, the king has made clear in words and through unprecedented actions his profound concern at allegations which continue to come to light in respect of Mr. Mountbatten Windsor's conduct. Pretty strong words.
They are, and it's another reflection that at the top of the royal family, they don't believe a word of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. They think he lied. He lied on Newsnight, lied to them. And if the police are going to get involved, that they have got to be seen to be helping them in every shape or form, because this is infecting the royal family's reputation.
And they are probably concerned about what comes next, because there are millions of pages of these documents. There's no way that anybody's scrutinised them all yet. There could be more damaging allegations to come. Yeah. Has he tried to drag other members of the royal family in? We just don't know in terms of what the content of those emails.
Yeah. And remember, he is the father of two young women, two princesses who are in the line of succession, and he is still sixth in line to the throne. I think that position is going to become unsustainable.
It might well be. I still think he should be exiled. I think that would be the
well, there's talk that one of the Arab sheikhs has offered him a palace in the UAE. Bye-bye.
Yeah, well,
we could pack his bags and see the back of it.
I think he'd probably prefer that as well.
Well, let's talk to the royal commentator, Robert Hardman, who is pretty well plugged into all matters royal after that extraordinary statement from the King concerning Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The Daily Mail's Robert Hardman, author of Charles III. Robert, morning to you. Pretty extraordinary stuff, much tougher and more specific than what we heard from the Prince and Princess of Wales yesterday.
Yeah, good morning, Andrew, Miriam. It was a pretty robust statement, I think, from the King. Over the last few weeks, there's been a sort of narrative of, why hasn't the palace done this or that? But we have to think back to really just a couple of months ago when the King took that extraordinary move of not just stripping Andrew of his titles, but his honours, kicking him out of the house, treating him as no royal had been treated since a cousin of Queen Victoria, the Duke of Cumberland, in the middle of the First World War, who was booted out, was stopped from being a prince for being a traitor, for fighting on the wrong side in the war. So, Andrew has basically been given the traitor treatment already, and is as far out in the cold as the statement yesterday. I think it a sort of reaffirms that the family have lost all patience with him. They can't get away from the fact that they are genetically linked to this person. Yes, he's in a house on the Sandringham estate, because if he went anywhere else, he'd either be a burden on the state or he'd fall in with bad company. But he's pretty much in sort of the nearest thing to Siberia that Britain has to offer.
It's a sign, isn't it, as well, Robert, that the palace, the king, Queen Camilla, they just don't believe him. They don't believe the stuff he's been saying about his links to Epstein, which has been thoroughly disproved by the release of the Epstein files.
Yeah, I mean, it's really sort of gone in three stages. I mean, everyone was appalled when the pictures came out. Can you believe it? 15 years ago, when he was photographed by the Mail on Sunday, consorting with Jeffrey Epstein after he'd been released from prison for child sex offences. And then that rumbled on and on and on. Then we got to the Newsnight interview, the famous Newsnight interview in 2019, where he said on camera before the world, as soon as he came out of prison, I went over there to say that's it, and several contact, no more contact. And then so the situation sort of rumbled along for another few years, and then it was really just a matter of months ago when the Mail on Sunday again revealed these emails in which Andrew signs off. Let's play again some more soon. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, KG, and so that was clearly a case that he had lied, and that was what prompted the king to strip him of all his titles. And I think that was a pretty prescient, far-sighted move. There we see, of course, that famous scene of him at the Duchess of Kent's funeral, where he starts sort of smirking with Prince William, who just wants nothing to do with him, and he's just shown no contrition. And as these files show, that the depths of his mendacity go even deeper. So I really don't think the king can do very much more at the moment. People keep saying, why doesn't the king tell him to do this or order him to do that? I mean, the rule of law applies. The king is not Henry VIII. He's not an autocrat. He has to let legal process take its path. Everyone has said Prince Andrew is now a private citizen. Well, he's going to be treated like a private citizen. So he's going to listen to his lawyers. He's not going to listen to his brother. And do you think there's a chance he may end up in prison? Oh, well, I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a policeman. It all depends on what legal process takes place here in the UK, what legal process takes place here in the US. I mean, I think the change in the direction of the story has been in the last few days, where it's one that has moved away from waiting for the US authorities to conduct some sort of investigation into the sort of sordid, tawdry sex side of Jeffrey Epstein. And now it's sort of focusing, as with Peter Mandelson, on the sort of commercial, financial side, and to do with trade documents. But these things are very complicated. I mean, I think everyone's rushing to judgment just because you send Jeffrey Epstein an email about something doesn't automatically make that a crime. But I mean, the bottom line, as the king said yesterday, is that this is one for law and the police, and he's not going to get any special treatment if it turns into a full legal matter.
Interesting. Robert Hardman, always good to talk to you, author of the bestseller Charles III. Now up